Have a fun video you'd like to see featured on NCW Life? Email us at newsphotos@ncwlife.com.
It's time for NCW Life News on the NCW Life channel. The latest from the Wenatchee Valley and North Central Washington with Steve Hare, Grant Olson, and sports with Eric Granstrom.
Good Monday evening and welcome to NCW Life News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top stories, let's take a quick look outside our weather window. And it was a beautiful day for the most part today. Beautiful shot looking down at the Columbia River and just a few clouds along the horizon. But we did see a decent amount of sunshine after some early morning rain showers. And I'll tell you what, as we take a look at our holiday travel for the week ahead, I know a lot of you will be hitting the roads this week. It's going to be a wet one. At least it looks like in the form of rain, especially tonight into Tuesday and Wednesday. Maybe some lingering rain showers on Thanksgiving, but keep in mind mountain passes could see some accumulating snow, especially Loop Loop Pass, Stevens Pass, and Lookout Pass on the border of Idaho and Montana. If you are traveling that direction, you will run into some snowfall, and we'll talk more about the storminess headed our way through the week ahead coming up a little bit later on. And now a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. Chelan County commissioners find the budget burdened with public defender costs. A teen causes a significant power outage in Wenatchee Sunday morning, and Congressman Dan Newhouse disputes claims on the House tax reform bill. But first, we begin tonight. Wenatchee's Lighthouse Christian Ministries hosted the 6th annual Night in a Box event Friday evening, with several community leaders camping out in cardboard boxes to bring awareness to the plight of the homeless. Among them, Bart Tilley, who Dan Kuntz spoke with in the parking lot of Encouraging Words bookstore on South Wenatchee Avenue.
7 years ago, Sean Arrington and I were talking, and he said, Bart, I'm going to go spend the night on the street out in front of what we now call the Gospel House in order to just raise awareness and support for getting the doors open to this facility. And I said, Sean, that's the craziest idea I've ever heard, but if you're going to do it, I'm going to do it. And so I went down, and it was a Thursday night. We spent the night in front of the building, and then Todd Strom decided to come down, and so did Kevin Kennedy, and we suffered. You know, sleeping in a cardboard box in a cold winter night isn't exactly fun. But the next morning we felt like, you know, we did something that actually counted. The Wenatchee World actually came down and did a little interview with us, and they put a nice article in the paper, and the community rallied. We raised funds and opened the doors to the Gospel House. So one thing that was interesting also is the next morning the police came and they said, guys, you got to get out of here. You can't be spending the night on the sidewalk. You know, we don't allow that. So the next year we said, well, you know what, we're going to invite the police. And so we've got Steve Crown spending the night with us tonight. We also have Brian Burnett. So we're bringing law enforcement along with us.
Joining Tilley at Friday's event were Chelan County Sheriff Brian Burnett, Wenatchee Police Chief Steve Crown, local attorney Andy Kottkamp, pastors Kay Coldy and Brian Brissot, and Darcy Christofferson with the Washington State Apple Blossom Festival. Wenatchee Police Chief Steve Crown was among the community leaders who spent his Friday night sleeping in a cardboard box as part of the Night in a Box. The event is used to raise awareness and to show the many services, programs, and shelters available for those without a roof over their heads. But it also begs the question, is the Wenatchee Valley becoming a magnet for the homeless?
I think that it's actual science that becomes an issue. So the way that you combat that whole problem is managed caseworker contact with these folks and getting them into the services that they need. Many of the folks that you find out here on the streets are suffering for some sort of mental illness. Some are not and chose it as a lifestyle. Others are just definitely in need. And so you've got that broad spectrum. You want to be able to provide services, a warm meal, a place to stay, but that's the point. We want to not have homeless folks. We want to find places to house these folks and get them the services that they need, and then become productive citizens.
Chief Crown says the city is looking to add more homeless shelters in addition to those already operating. He says what's needed now are what he described as low barrier facilities that offer help without some of the restrictions required at other shelters such as the Gospel House or Hospitality House shelters. About 900 Chelan County PUD customers were knocked off the grid early Sunday morning when a car struck a power pole. The accident at the intersection of Washington and Western Streets happened around 3:30 in the morning. Captain Edgar Reinfeld with the Wenatchee Police Department said it was caused by a 16-year-old boy who was driving under the influence of drugs when he collided with that power pole.
Now, recovered from him was Xanax, a couple of pills there. It's a relatively common anti-anxiety drug that's become a very, very common drug of abuse. And then they also recovered 3 dabs of marijuana wax, another common way that's coming around to use marijuana that's very, very high in THC. In fact, it can be up over 90% THC as opposed to smoke marijuana or many of the other infused products, which are much, much lower percentage by volume. The juvenile was ultimately arrested for taking a motor vehicle without permission. It's a parent's vehicle, but he had, when he's not supposed to have it, he'd stolen it. So taking the motor vehicle without permission, DUI, a hit and run, unlawful possession of a controlled substance in the Xanax that was recovered from his person, juvenile, and then unlawful possession of marijuana under 21. Despite its legality, many people would tend to believe they can have it, even if they're juveniles, they cannot. In this case, the knocked out power for almost 16 hours for some customers, and Western Street was closed for almost 16 hours to make repairs. The way the pole was struck and where it was dropped some live power lines, and it was an extremely dangerous situation for an extended period.
Captain Reinfeld says the boy was not injured but will face multiple charges. Congressman Dan Newhouse disputes claims that the House tax reform bill mostly benefits the wealthy. Prior to voting for the measure, Newhouse addressed the critics.
Mr. Speaker, I have been disappointed in the dialogue surrounding this legislation from my colleagues on the other side of the aisle. The accusations that this will be a massive tax hike on the middle class are patently false. And unfortunately, these claims are being made by federal officials right here in Washington, D.C., all the way to my state capital in Washington State. In my congressional district, just let me tell you, over 80% of the people file their taxes using the standard deduction. This bill actually doubles the standard deduction for middle-class families and for all Americans. This allows families I represent in Moses Lake, in Omak, and the Tri-Cities to save more money on their tax bill without having to jump through complicated loopholes and pore over their tax preparations for hours.
The House passed the measure last week and a Senate committee approved a different version hours later. If the full Senate passes a bill, the two will need to be reconciled. As the differences get hammered out, almost anything is possible. Coming up, we'll have your real estate snapshot for the Valley. Moses Lake Police catch 2 prolific male thieves, and state fish and wildlife officials investigate the poaching of an adult male moose in the Lake Wenatchee area. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching NCW Life News.
Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house, featuring great family dining in downtown Chelan. We've got burgers, pub fare, and the best barbecue around. Try one of our award-winning sauces made fresh here in-house. So grab the whole gang and come on down. Stormy Mountain Brewing. Beer, barbecue, friends, and beer.
Hi everyone, Brent Crowder here at Town Nissan. Come on down to Town Nissan and help us celebrate the best-selling SUV in America today, the 2017 Nissan Rogue, along with its big brother, the Nissan Murano, and the beautiful Maxima, and the all-new Nissan Titan, and the all-new Nissan Armada. Come down and see us and see why we are the fastest-growing car company in America today. Come down and see us at Town Nissan behind Costco in East Wenatchee.
Bay Equity Home Loans in Wenatchee, serving all of North Central Washington. We make it our priority to learn all about your financial needs. Whether you're buying your first home, refinancing, or want a reverse mortgage, our mortgage professionals are ready to guide you through the loan process. We have a wide variety of loan products to fit your family's needs. Call Bay Equity Home Loans of Wenatchee today for your pre-approval. 509-888-0466.
Welcome back. In other news, Wenatchee's inventory of homes for sale continues to decline as prices continue to climb. The Real Estate Snapshot report for October, issued by Pacific Appraisal and Associates, says the average sale price rose to $315,000 from $295,000 in 2016. The report also says there are currently 158 homes listed for sale in the Wenatchee market. That's a decrease of 7% from the previous month and a 4% decrease from 2016. Meanwhile, there were reported 94 sales in October and 303 over the last 90 days. Year to date, there have been 873 sales, which is a decrease of 7% over this time last year. 2 Moses Lake women were arrested Thursday in connection with what police described as prolific mail theft. Moses Lake police responded to a report of women stealing mail in the area off Peninsula Street. They quickly located 2 female subjects in the area driving a car that matched the description given by the caller. When stopped, the passenger in the car began stuffing mail under her car seat. The 2 women, 29-year-old Jessica Steele and 21-year-old Brittany Strong, were arrested and their vehicle was impounded and searched. Officers located 395 pieces of stolen mail from 118 separate addresses in the Moses Lake area, both inside and outside of the city limits. Police also seized heroin paraphernalia from that vehicle. Washington State Department of Fish and Wildlife are investigating the poaching of an adult moose near Meadow Creek in the Lake Wenatchee area. The carcass was found in a clearing only about 50 yards from the road. Officers are examining evidence from the scene and reviewing security footage from roads in the area. Only a small number of moose exist near Lake Wenatchee, and there's no established hunting season for moose. Fish and Wildlife are asking anyone with information about this crime to call the Wenatchee District Office at 509-662-0452 and ask to speak with Officer Tucker. Those who provide information leading to an arrest may be eligible for a cash reward. Killing a moose out of season carries a maximum penalty of $5,000 and up to 1 year in jail or both. You're watching NCW Life News. Coming up next, your sports update, followed by today's feature story. That and much more still to come on NCW Life News. Stay with us.
At Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
Having a relationship with your pediatrician is so important. Feeling that sense of trust, that is priceless. I tell everybody about CBCH. I love it there. When I make an appointment, I don't have to take an entire day off. As a working mom, my life is really busy. Family time is everything. That's what we all work towards. And I feel like CBCH respects that.
And now it's a sports update on the NCW Life channel.
And a happy Monday. The Cascade Kodiak-Stacon Kings for the State 1A Championship Saturday afternoon at Shoreline Stadium. After a scoreless first half, Cascade's Ashley Parton would finally tally the game's first goal in the 62nd minute. Hope of it standing, however, would not hold. Let's go to the highlights courtesy of the National Federation of High School Network.
Trying to come back into the middle. Defender goes down. Parton passed one. Got held up. She'll shoot. She scores!
An attacking or a defensive player inside the box.
Player up, a shot, a score!
So the game would go to overtime, tied at 1. Through 2 overtimes, it remained tied at 1 and would go to a penalty kick shootout. Both teams made 4 or 5 of the first shootout, so it would go to a sudden death shootout. Finally, in the 9th round, the match would be decided.
Goes right down the middle. Roberts has stopped
it. Goalkeeper. Oh, it's not over yet. Kings has to put one away.
Can she provide the victory? Goes left. She's done it. The Kings Knights are 1A state champs.
Heck of a way to end the season. Congrats to the Kodiaks on an incredible run. Brewster was also a tough luck loser in a shootout with St. George's Friday in the 1B, 2B state semifinals, but then bounced back with a 2-0 win over Adna Saturday to take third place. Also Saturday in the state 1A football quarterfinals, Royal and Okanagan met at Lee Bofto Field at the Apple Bowl. A big crowd on hand, looking forward to an exciting back-and-forth contest. But the Knights would not play along with those wishes, scoring on the first play from scrimmage on a 65-yard touchdown run by Alonzo Hernandez. It was all Royal from there, as we were there to bring you the highlights. Royal will face Newport in the semifinal Saturday at 1 o'clock in Moses Lake. Other scores from the East Side teams over the weekend. Elmira Cooley Heartline had no trouble advancing to the state 1B semifinals with a 62-36 win over Nasale. They'll play Civic Stadium in Bellingham Saturday at 1 o'clock against Lummi. Meanwhile, the Richland Bombers advanced to the state 4A semis with a 28-21 win over Gonzaga Prep. The Bombers basically have a home game Saturday at 1 o'clock at Edgar Brown Stadium in Pasco. Central Valley comes to call. The Wenatchee Wild went 2-1 over the weekend north of the border. The Wild started the weekend off with a convincing 5-1 win over Coquitlam. Then they beat Langley 4-2. Surrey and Wenatchee played on Sunday. It would go to overtime. Let's get the final go in OT.
Shoots and clears it now. Wesley picks this one back out and breaks out of his own zone. As Wesley comes back down on the left side, dangles across to the far side. Stewart shoots, scores! Stewart gets the winner, and the Eagles come out. And boy, oh boy, look at the team.
That's a look at sports news. I'm Eric Grandstrom on the NCW Life Channel. Grant, back to you.
Thank you, Eric. The Wenatchee Valley College Foundation aims to share the value of education and broadening horizons in the Wenatchee Valley. The new executive director of the foundation shares how the community can support its local college students.
Hello, I'm David Davin, the new executive director for the Wenatchee Valley College Foundation, and I want to share with you my dream. A dream where Wenatchee is a hub of high-quality education from kindergarten through master's degrees. And luckily, we're almost there. Wenatchee Valley College just launched its first 2 bachelor degree programs in engineering and nursing, and there are more on the way. But state funding is not what it used to be, and it likely won't be in the near future. If we want to help WVC expand to help meet the needs of this area, we have to do it ourselves. No one will do it for us. The good news is that we can. We can support scholarships so that deserving and needing students can access our college. We can support new and upgraded equipment needs for WVC's various programs. We can support the mission to launch new programs, including bachelor degree programs, in the areas of greatest needs for our region. We can do all this by supporting the Wenatchee Valley College Foundation. Every day, thousands of hopeful students walk these grounds, going from class to class, studying late into the night, all while caring for children and aging parents, juggling multiple jobs, and dreaming of a brighter future. Let's give them a hand as they build the future for this valley. Let's do it together. I hope you'll join us as we strive for 1,000 donors to support this important cause by December 31st. Thank you.
We'll be back in just a moment with the recap of some of today's stories and your complete local weather forecast right after this.
Travel enhances your life in every way. Let the travel professionals at Journey Travel and Tours help you plan that dream vacation. Don't leave the important details to those nameless, faceless online agencies. At Journey Travel and Tours, our goal is to build relationships that last a lifetime. And when you do need help, we have a 24-hour helpline that is routed to one of the agents in our office. When you think travel, think Journey Travel and Tours. It's where your journey begins. Like us on Facebook, and you could be one of our monthly winners.
So, how you guys doing?
My job starts in Portland in a month.
Can we find a buyer that fast? I think we're good. Our CBX app tells us who the best potential buyers are. We can pinpoint where the hottest prospects are located, right on this map.
2 cities over.
It even lets us set the most accurate price. Wow, it really does all that. It really does all that.
Well, help us pack?
We're working on that.
Is this really what we're gonna do on our girls' night out?
We should go to Club Crow. The bar and grill in Kashmir? Yeah, let's go.
Looking for a fun-filled, friendly hometown atmosphere? Club Crow Bar and Grill in Kashmir is the place to be. Hi, this is Justin. Here at Club Crow, we have full bar and restaurant, live music, a dance floor, pool tables, pull tabs, and live jam sessions the first Sunday of every month. Club Crow in Kashmir, the coolest place in town.
Time now for a recap of some of our top stories. About 900 Chelan County PUD customers were knocked off the grid early Sunday morning when a car struck a power pole. The accident at the intersection of Washington and Western Streets happened around 3:30 in the morning. Captain Edgar Reinfeld with the Wenatchee Police Department says it was caused by a 16-year-old boy who was driving under the influence of drugs when he collided with the power pole. Reinfeld says the boy was not injured but will face multiple charges. 2 Moses Lake women were arrested Thursday in connection with what police described as prolific mail theft. Moses Lake police responded to a report of women stealing mail in the area off Peninsula Street. They quickly located 2 female suspects in the area driving a car that matched the description given by the caller. When stopped, the passenger in the car began stuffing mail under her car seat. The 2 women, 29-year-old Jessica Steele and 21-year-old Brittany Strong, were arrested and their vehicle was impounded and a search warrant was served on it. Officers located 395 pieces of stolen mail from 118 separate addresses in the Moses Lake area, both inside and outside of the city limits. Police also seized heroin paraphernalia from that vehicle. Washington State Department of Fish and Wildlife are investigating the poaching of an adult moose near Meadow Creek in the Lake Wenatchee area. The carcass was found in a clearing only about 50 yards from the road. Officers are examining evidence from the scene and reviewing security footage from roads in the area. Only a small number of moose exist near Lake Wenatchee, and there is no established hunting season for moose. Fish and Wildlife are asking anyone with information about this crime to call the Wenatchee District Office. That number is 509-662-0452 and ask to speak with Officer Tucker. Those who provide information leading to an arrest may be eligible for a cash reward. Killing a moose out of season carries a maximum penalty of $5,000 fine, 1 year in jail, or both. And now your weather forecast for north central Washington. Before we get to that, let's take a look once again outside our weather window. And was a nice day, wasn't it? Some rain showers this morning and then some clouds, or I should say some clearing this afternoon. We did see plenty of sunshine and very mild temperatures, mainly into the middle 40s today. We will increase our chances for rain and increase those temperatures, though, as we move through the week. Let's take a look at what we're seeing out the surface right now in our weather pattern over the next 4 or 5 days or so. Storm number 1 just off the coast of Washington. That will move through today, tonight, and into Wednesday. Storm number 2 will be reinforcements then on Wednesday night, and then maybe some storminess on Thanksgiving for Thursday, but really not a great chance for us for Thursday. Our better chance will be tomorrow and Wednesday. Let's put that satellite map in motion now, and you can see that most of our moisture moving up is what's called a pineapple express. It's moving down just south of Hawaii, moving up through the Pacific and then into the western United States. It's bringing a very moist, warm subtropical flow of air and moisture into the northwest, and that's the pattern pattern that we will see continue today, tomorrow, into Wednesday, and parts of Thursday as well. But as I mentioned, considering that flow is from the southwest, we will also see a warm up in our temperatures. Keep in mind that our normal temperature for this time of year is about 43 or 44 degrees, and we will see temperatures in the lower to mid 50s as we move into Thanksgiving Day. So let's take a look at that forecast now. And tonight we'll see a very mild overnight tonight of about 37 degrees. And once again, we have about a 70% chance of the wet stuff overnight tonight. It probably will happen after midnight tonight. 90% chance for rain on Tuesday and 45 for our high. We'll stay with about a 70% chance of rain on both Tuesday night and on Wednesday. But notice on Wednesday, that's where we begin to warm up. 52 our high then. And by Turkey Day on Thanksgiving Thursday, 55 degrees for our high temperature. We will see a little bit of wind on Thursday as well. But boy, will it be great if folks are traveling late getting to grandma's house on Thursday. 50 for Friday, and by the time the holiday weekend comes up, it looks like cloudy skies, maybe a shower Saturday night with highs then in the mid-40s. Boeing recently unveiled its newest airplane, the 737 MAX. The new airliner has all the latest technology, and as it takes off, hold on to your seat. And I hope we all have the stomach for that. And that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-NCWL. That's 888-6295. Also, make sure you tune in to NCW Life Channel tomorrow morning for Wake Up Wenatchee Valley with your host Dan Kuntz and News with Steve Hare. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.
This has been NCW Life News on the NCW Life Channel. For more news, log on to ncwlife.com, like us on Facebook, and follow NCW Life Channel on Twitter.
Honey, I got the space heater.
Make sure you survive winter. Call Central Washington Heating and Air before it's too late. This winter, don't get shocked by the cold. Call Central Washington Heating and Air today.
Lake Chelan mailboxes find solutions and the best price for all your shipping needs, including UPS, FedEx, and the U.S. Postal Service. We offer a variety of services including quality copies of all sizes, faxing, scanning, sending and receiving email, laminating, and notarizing. Enjoy browsing through our large selection of greeting cards. Lake Chelan Mailboxes supports our military, fire victims, and our community. Come see us at the Plaza in Lake Chelan.
Is your vehicle in need of a quick oil change or tune-up before hitting the road this summer? Stop by Quick Lube and Tune, the home of the good guys at 610 South Wenatchee Avenue.
I'm Bryce Newberry, and you're watching the NCW Life channel.